Boom, yo, 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 it's your proverbial boy Jeffy coming at you today from Treasure Island, California. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of fluids, okay? So, now today is a very special day because I'm presenting the Employee of the Month award for our beloved organization that you've all come to know and love so well. And if you want me to win, please like, please subscribe to this video so my pathetic heart isn't broken. But guess what? It's kind of a moot point because the big wigs upstairs, they thought long, they thought hard, they did other things, and they concluded that for this month, there is no more valuable employee than Jeffy. So here is my motherfucking acceptance speech, uncut, raw, you know the rest. And what I want to touch on today is some of the stuff that I teach on my live programs. And first and foremost, I want to stress here today the importance of being in the moment, okay? Being present. Now, meeting somebody that you haven't known before and getting intimate with them very, very quickly, this isn't something it isn't nearly as rare or as complicated as the mainstream might have you believe, okay? In fact, I would dare say that it's the simplest thing in the world. We actually just make it complicated. Like if you look at the animal kingdom, for example, they don't have any opening lines, they don't have any fancy routines, they don't use any elaborate phase shifts, okay? When mating season is on, it's on, okay? Especially for the top dogs in the hierarchy, of course, but that's a whole other topic for a separate video, and we'll kind of put a pin in that for the time being. Now, a lot of guys that come to my programs, they come to the program hungry for more, right? They want more material, they want more lines, they want more techniques. And yeah, I'll give it to them. Quite frankly, out of all my colleagues, I'm probably the coach who uses the most structure, in fact. And I generally will provide probably more material in the course of that weekend than the vast majority of those people will ever end up realistically using, okay? And these techniques is stuff I've developed over almost 20 years. It's powerful stuff. But if you ask me, the structure that I provide, it's really just there as an outline. It's not supposed to be a verbatim script. There is a more powerful way, and searching for more simply ain't it. It ain't it. It ain't it, chief, as they say. Okay, so in my experience running programs pretty much every weekend for the past 18 years, what I found is that most, if not all, students actually need less, not more. Which is to say, I think you're already amazing at dating. I think that you have this skill bred into your very genes, okay? Going back every single generation that needed to mate in order for you to be here watching this video today. Like no matter how much of a loser your ancestors were, going back to the beginning of time, they got laid at least once in their life, okay? So why are you watching this video? Well, because somewhere along the way, like most of us, you probably picked up some bad habits. You maybe acquired some funny little ideas. Maybe you started viewing reality distorted by all sorts of fears, all sorts of unnatural desires. So my job, as I see it, is not to get you to ape me, to copy me, to copy my style, but rather to unearth the unique instructor, so to speak, that's buried within each unique student. Instead of focusing on more stuff to memorize, it's about experiencing the freedom. It's about experiencing the confidence to shed those fears that you picked up along the way, right? To kind of pare down, whittle off that negative social conditioning, whittle down the ego, whittle down the roles that you've been playing your whole life until you're actually ending up more you than you've ever actually allowed yourself to be before. Right? So that's an interesting concept. How much of you is actually you and how much is the social conditioning? You want to pare that down and be the real you. How does that happen? How? Well, think about this. If you want to be a naturally attractive person, quote unquote, it all starts with being in the moment. It all starts with being present. It all starts with transcending the intellect, getting rid of thoughts about the dead past or imagined future, and paying attention to the here and now. And by that, I mean this. Most people, before they even attempt to speak to that person that they find attractive, if they ever do, or for the slightly more advanced, maybe, before they start moving things forward romantically in the interaction, before they do that, most people do what? They actually flood their minds with all sorts of garbage, right? Past fears, past failures, projected future fears, projected future failures, what they should say, what role should they assume, maybe if they're a little bit better off, affirmations to psych themselves up, when really the best thing that you could do is actually just go talk to that person without any delay whatsoever. I'll say that again. The best thing that you could do is just go, right? Just go talk to that person without any delay whatsoever, right? No self-talk, no considering what you're gonna say, simply go. And this is something that was huge for me, getting that time between when you see them and when you take action as close to zero as possible. And this is a huge topic that I could elaborate on for hours, but for now, let's just say that when you actually delay, 3 things happen that do not help you at all. Now first, the first of those 3, and here I'm gonna let you in on a little bit of a secret. Women are in fact acutely aware of the person who's hovering nearby, trying to build up the guts to talk to them, right? Even if they don't directly see you, they know that you're doing it, right? Doing the decaying orbit, perhaps, as we used to call it, you know, or perhaps the one who can approach, but is too scared to move things forward, right? They see the fear, they see the hesitation in your eyes, and they see it in your body language as well. And this is not gonna help you. Basically, you're shooting yourself in the foot, okay? So that's number 1. Second, when you delay, you're basically trying to psych yourself up, but ironically, you're almost inevitably doing the opposite, right? You're giving yourself time to think about the insecurities. You're giving yourself time to think about all the reasons why you shouldn't approach or why you shouldn't escalate, take it to the next level. Again, this is not gonna help you on your mission to get intimate. And even if you do manage to open them up, your ability to actually form a genuine connection with that person that you are currently interacting with is gonna be severely stunted. It's gonna be very severely hampered if you're up in your head thinking about what to say next, as opposed to what? As opposed to, well, actually interacting. Now, keep in mind, it's far better to be in the moment spontaneously generating, you know, say 6 out of 10 content than it is to be in your head reciting 10 out of 10 content, right? It's kind of a weird thing to think about, but in my experience, it's very, 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 very true, all right? So thirdly, while you're in your head thinking about what to do and say next, life is actually passing you by. It's passing you by. We can only live in the present. We can only live and experience the now, the present moment, so you might as well live in the moment as fully as you can, right? You can either spend this time interacting with that beautiful stranger, or you can spend the time in dialogue with your own fears. And trust me, you're not gonna end up on your deathbed wishing that you had hesitated more, wishing that you had worried more, all right? Highly unlikely. And you know what, if that does happen, you can hold me to, you can call me up and berate me on your deathbed, okay? So understand, conversational choices have to be made in process as a direct experience. You can't examine a particular intuitive hunch of what to say while actually speaking with somebody, because why? The interaction's flowing in time. There's no time out for you to examine that intuitive impulse for its usefulness. So what needs to be developed isn't mental screening of those impulses, but rather the capacity of the projective modes, right? The face, the voice, and the body, to respond instantly to those energies of intuition. And look, this isn't to say that all intuitive impulses should actually be followed in actual interactions, right? There's a saying that I love, and it's this: when you exercise, you practice what you can't do. When you actually interact, allow what you can do when necessary, right? So in my programs, I stress the importance of exercising the projection of intuition so that we can learn to trust it. And then it becomes an increasingly useful resource for actual interactions. So stop worrying about what you're gonna say, leave the analysis for later, all right? And look, analysis is important because it allows you to make the best of your practice, right? But there's a time and place for it. It's not while you're actually interacting, it's for later. Have you ever noticed that when you're around your friends or you're around people that you're comfortable with, the conversation just flows, right? There is no, what do I say? There's no running out of things to say. And like, yes, you may have more shared experiences with those people, but ultimately, the main reason that you have this endless supply of things to say with them is precisely because you're not worrying about what you're gonna say, right? You're relaxed around these people. They've accepted you, they're not judging you, and the conversation is more about sharing good feelings than it is about specific content. It's not about, there's not a goal to the conversation. And some people call this vibing. You may have heard us say this in the past. So the next time you see that attractive stranger, you are going to talk to them without delay. That's what you're gonna do, okay? No agenda, just put a smile on their face. That's the goal, right? Create a good vibe. And if you can do that, maybe then you can start to begin about executing your horizontal plot development technique. And when you do that, at worst, like if you just go up without any delay and you say hi, at worst, you might say hi and then find you got nothing else to say. Cool, that's fine, you're still alive. Now try again. You've got to become comfortable with uncertainty. You've got to get comfortable with discomfort. Because once you've experienced discomfort on several occasions, as I have, okay, more than several, but once you've experienced that, you're no longer gonna fear it. And in time, you're gonna discover that things just start to flow, right? Like that guy entering the gym for the first time on January 1st for the New Year's resolution, you gotta start small and you gotta build the appropriate muscles. You can't be ashamed or afraid to be seen, you know, curling the 5-pound pink weight. So you can experiment with material, that's fine, but don't let it become steroids, don't let it become your crutch. You gotta learn to stand on your own 2 feet in the moment. And for a time you might falter, and maybe the conversation will stall after 5 seconds. Great. Next time, go for 6 seconds, then go for 10 seconds, then go for a minute, then go for a half an hour. And so on and so on and so on and so forth until what? Until you get to that point where you just stop worrying about what you're gonna say and you start reveling in the chaos of the moment, right? And there's joy to be found in that chaos. And by the way, the same goes for moving it forward, for the so-called horizontal plot development aspect. The next time you find yourself wondering whether you should try to move to the next stage of an interaction, just get out of your head and go for it. Just do it. See what happens. Because what? If they sense fear, if they sense hesitation, your chances are gonna be greatly, greatly reduced. But with practice, your fear is gonna melt away. Okay, you actually get to the point where you become kind of shameless about it and they will see this in your eyes and they will love you for it. Remember that old saying, fortune favors the bold. And this is something that it took me a long time to learn. I remember back when I first started, I'd go to move it forward, maybe I'd go to, to bring him in for a hug or whatever, and like 80% of my brain would be like, oh, golly, I hope it works, I hope it works, I hope it works, and I'd like tense up. And it made it not work as much, right? I mean, it would still work, and a lot of the time, so a surprising amount of the time, in fact. And over time, I got that 80% down to 50%, down to 40%. Now, when I go to move it forward, there's probably about 5% of my brain that says, I hope it works. It's still there because, again, unless you were raised a natural, it's unrealistic to think that you're gonna completely eradicate that, but it's down to such a point where it's basically negligible. But the main thing is to just stay out of your head. Because as long as you are afraid of social interaction, whether it's approaching, whether it's talking to people, whether it's going for the close, or simply worrying what they think about you, nothing that you're gonna think. That's right, not a single thought is gonna help you, other than telling yourself to be right here, right now, in the moment. To just make your feet move and take action. You'll figure it out when you get there. And when you experience fear in the moment, recognize it as a tool. And that tool can be used well or not so well. Like look around you in the room that you're sitting in right now. Maybe there's a table there. Maybe there's a cell phone on it. Maybe there's a couch in the room. And likewise, maybe amongst all these other perceptions, there's also fear. And understand that that's okay. That's okay as well. If you want to actually conquer fear, you got to make friends with it, right? Fear is your friend. So when you avoid the fear, when you flee from the fear, when you obsess over the fear in your head, all you're doing is strengthening it, right? Whatever you resist persists, as that old saying goes. So if it's there, try to transcend that black and white duality, that I like it, I don't like it binary, and simply feel the burn of the fear in the moment, right? Let it keep burning until it burns itself out, until it has no more fuel to feed off of. That cell phone on the table, it's not gonna stop you, right? It's not gonna stop you from doing what you wanna do, and neither should the fear, right? Emotions, anger, fear, all these are just signposts. The fear, it's basically a compass that points to an area that you need to grow in, and it presents you with an opportunity to either fight it or flee from it, right? Fight or flight. Fight or flight, it's your choice. And the vast majority of the time, literally like 99.99% of the time in social interactions, your life isn't actually at risk. So in flight, you stand to gain very, very little. You stand to gain nothing. Fleeing the moment seems easy in the short term, but it's the harder path in the long run, right? The cumulative psychological damage of not facing up to the fear is far, far worse than actually facing up to it and conquering it. In fight, however, and by that I mean engaging with the moment, at the very least, you're going to learn something that's going to bring you closer to your desired outcome, right? And closer to a truer understanding of who you actually are. Now, I want you to understand that all the tips you get in these free videos are just a small fraction of what we actually present in the actual paid programs. Believe it or not, who would have thunk? Strong, successful relationships, strong, successful connections start with what? They start with charisma. And that's why I developed a program focused on accountability with twice weekly personal communication with myself and my team of coaches called Charisma Mentoring. And this program is designed to help you learn faster, to be expressive, so you are actually you. And this is a system that I've developed over the past 18 years of live coaching. But Charisma Mentoring, it isn't just about connecting with people you're romantically interested in. It's about building a better you, so you can actually be a leader of people, right? That's the highest goal in social interaction, is actually getting other people to follow you, getting other people to listen to you, take your ideas seriously, implement them. So once you complete this course, you're going to be a newer, best version of yourself, right? You're going to become the person you were meant to be, the person that everybody wants to be around, the person that's free from concern, the person that's free from self-judgment, the person who people follow because of who you are, not because of your title or your manager name tag. They're following you because of what you represent. So imagine getting that promotion you wanted. Imagine connecting with somebody who might be your next business partner, who might be your next best friend. All because why? Because you learned how to communicate with people at the highest level because you signed up for this today. What would all that stuff be worth to you that I just mentioned? Ensuring that you don't miss out on opportunities. Ensuring that you don't miss out on new relationships. Ensuring that you don't miss out on friendships. With this program, you leave fully confident, you leave fully equipped with all the tools that you need. So you never feel alone in a room. You never feel like you go to a party or like you don't belong there. So if you're tired of living anything but an extraordinary life, and you want me to guide you through the process while you actually create the skills that you need to live the life of your dreams, then click the link in the description below and apply for the Charisma Mentoring Program. Make the smart decision today. Make the smart decision right now while you have time in this unique moment in history, in this unique moment in your life. Click that link below and learn how this Charisma Mentoring Program will change your life. How you'll approach interactions differently. How you'll make better friends. How you'll make powerful business connections. How you'll make stronger relationships. And ultimately, how you'll make the life of your dreams. So, in summation, that's it today for our prestigious award edition of the Jeffy Show here. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I will see you next week, as always, and next month, where hopefully I will win the Employee of the Month again. It's your boy Jeffy. Peace!
Definitely learned a lot just to be able to connect with people a lot better. Jeffy's really studied down to the roots of how we're so stifled and you have these entanglements inside you and how to release them. I definitely recommend this program for other people to take a deeper look within themselves. Jeffy's program is amazing.
This program is extremely exercise-based. It's designed to give you a process to identify these weaknesses in your communicative system, to open and sustain charismatic expression, charismatic communication with increasing consistency. All sensory communication is based on some relationship of these three perceptual and projective modes. Any art involving human communication is going to benefit from knowing how the communicating power of each mode can be enhanced. Charisma and conversational skill really hasn't had a vocabulary for talking about these issues surrounding the technique. Most of the books you read, the vast majority of them are very surface level, very hokey. And even with experienced teachers, the feedback can often be very subjective and vague. You seem kind of stifled. So I want to change the way that these criticisms or descriptions are verbalized and get very, very specific. So when we're talking about these blockages, We know precisely what we're talking about here.
If you follow the instructions, you see something very, very net and precise that happens. You're gonna see the result instantaneous.
It's the best charisma program I've ever seen.
So I learned something which is very rare.
How do people use their energies when they communicate? How can I help them become masters of those energies? So when you go out and you feel that blockage, that inability to act, oh, there's the person I want to talk to, I know how to go talk to them, I've read the theories, I've watched all the videos, but I can't take action. What's impeding the flow? Remove the obstacles, isolate the skills, exercise them separately, then put them together, back together in a more completely realized whole.
You know, unleashes your true charisma.
In fact, you have some glimpse of energy you can manage on the wall side. Increase it, decrease it, manage it. Seriously, it was absolutely amazing and astonishing.
How to speak to all the issues surrounding this interrelationship between intuitive and intellectual resources is arguably the most fundamental challenge facing anyone who's attempting to improve their communication skills. So this program intends to prepare your total instrument to open and communicate freely, but also teach you to let go.
He will take you by the hand and guide you step by step with his method that he's been trying and improving, and you're gonna get the results that you wanna be looking for.
Overall, this is a really broad spectrum course in charisma. I think I can apply it in my dating life, also in business and other areas of my life. So if you're looking to develop general charisma that you can apply across all areas of life, definitely check out Jeff's Charisma Mastery.